And this is absolutely, absolutely important for anybody looking to land a job. All right. But just before we get started, I'll do a brief introduction about myself and about who we are at Talent Loop and what we are all about. And then I'd love us to have an amazing interactive session. But before we get started, just type into the chat. I'd like to know where you are joining us from. Okay. So type into the chat where you're joining us from. If you're joining from the UK, joining from the US, joining from Canada, from Nigeria, just type into the chat. I'm joining from Alberta, Canada. Okay. So I'm just going to type that into the chat. So type where you're joining us from so we know where you are all coming from. Okay. So welcome, Donatus, Onize, Christiana, Olaoye. Okay, Onize is joining from Nigeria. Fantastic. Okay, so let's get where others are joining from. Christiana is joining from Ghana. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, if you know somebody who's been struggling to land a job, you know somebody that has been applying to jobs, they're in Nigeria, they're in Ghana, they're in the UK, they're in the US, and they're struggling to land a job, share this link with them because it will do a whole lot of good for them to know exactly what to do, the next step they need to take to land that job. All right, so let's dive in. So I'll do a brief. I'm going to drive our session today. It's a 1 hour session. We're likely going to take less than 1 hour, and then we'll have a Q&A towards the end of the session. But my name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm a technology expert with over a decade experience in data analytics, data science, and management consulting. I'm the founder of Tenalytics and the co-founder of Amdari. And using these two platforms, I've helped over 2,855 plus people to land jobs within the tech ecosystem. So transitioning from their current career path, we've had nurses, we've had accountants become project managers, we've had nurses who came to us today, they are data analysts, data scientists. We've had people who are in customer service, but today they are cybersecurity specialists and so on. So I've worked as a data science consultant for most part of my career in the UK, in the US. I currently reside in Canada. I've worked as a data analyst with one of the largest privately owned energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa. And I've also worked as a data analytics consultant with FITC. FITC is owned by the Bankers Committee and the Central Bank of Nigeria. I've worked across 5 different sectors, from energy to sports, to educational technology, automobile, and financial services. But just like so many people, my first degree was in industrial chemistry, something totally unrelated to my career path eventually. So at the core of what we do, or at the core of my mission, is to help as many Africans, people of the Black community, to transition and land high-paying jobs. And how do we do this? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So for so many of you who are trying to transition from your current career path into a new career path, I'll be telling you exactly what you need to do. And to highlight that is the SEAT approach is one of the techniques everyone needs to know. In fact, if you don't know the SEAT approach, you are always going to struggle during interviews. All right. Now, before we start, get into the main meat of the session for today, I want to ask this question. I'm sure most of us have attended interviews, some of you multiple, some of you maybe not as many as the others. But what is that one question that every interviewer must ask? That one question that when you get into the interview, you can, be sure that you get this question from the interviewer. So Wesley, your mic is unmuted. I believe you want to speak. Okay, so anybody can respond. If you want to respond, you can raise your hand. I'll call you up to speak, or you can just simply type it in the chat. All right, Biodun, please go ahead. What's that one question you know that you must get during an interview?
Tell me about yourself.
Tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Thanks, Wesley. Thanks, Biodun. So we know that we must get this question. All right. But even with the fact that we know that this is a question we're likely going to get asked, a lot of people still flunk this question. They don't know how to answer. They don't know how to respond. All right. The moment you get this question from the one of the interviewers during the panel interview, a lot of people are like this. They start on a slippery slope without knowing what to do, and eventually they burn themselves because they've not been able to successfully carry their interviewers on a journey, letting them know who they are, what they do, and what they can bring to the table. It's a very simple question. Tell me about yourself. And it can come in different variations. Can we get to meet you? Can you walk us through your experience? Can you walk us through your CV? Tell me about yourself. It could come in different forms. But for most people, it's still one of the widely recognized questions that is also most challenging and commonly mishandled. I interviewed somebody last week. We're interviewing for a vice president role, a very senior role. And one of the best candidates during that interview, we asked him, just like you expect to get asked the question in any interview, tell me about yourself. And he started by saying, my name is Joseph. I'm the first son of my family. I'm from Ogun State, Nigeria. Irrelevancies. That was how we started.
Irrelevant.
When we
That's
got to
irrelevant.
okay. So Wesley, I think you keep on muting yourself. I'm just going to mute so that we don't have distractions. So, like I said, he was the best candidate eventually at the end of the interview, because when we we dove into the technical parts of the interview, he did very well. He answered the questions. He showed he had the competence to do the job. But that first question, tell me about yourself, he flunked it. All right. And a lot of people do this. Okay. And that's because instinctively, when you're told to talk about yourself, we don't talk about ourselves as much, as often as we would love to. So when you're asked the question, tell me about yourself, you start rambling, you start talking about things that are irrelevant, how you're the first or the last born of your family, how you're from this family or from this country, and so on and so forth. So now that we know, Biodun has told us categorically that this is a question we are always going to get. And that's because your interviewers want to know you beyond your CV. Your CV is a paper format, all right? Anybody can write a good CV today. If you have, ChatGPT and so many other tools. But the big question is, who are you outside that paper? Who are you outside the CV? And that's why you must know exactly how to answer the question, tell me about yourself. So how do you attempt to start answering the question, tell me about yourself? So one thing I'll give you today is I'll give you the tools that you need to answer this question effectively. By the end of our next 30 to 40 minute session, you know exactly how to answer this question, tell me about yourself. And the technique and the approach for you to use is called the SEAT approach. S for skills, E for experience, A for achievements, and then T for traits or type of person. All right. Now, before we started the session today, I mentioned the fact that we've helped over 2,000, close to 3,000 people from across the globe, from the US to the UK to Canada to Europe, Poland, Germany, and so on and so forth, across Africa, from Ghana to Nigeria, to land jobs. At the core of them getting that job, the interview preparation is absolutely important. This was crucial and critical to their ability to perform well during interviews, secure the jobs, and get the offer eventually. And it all starts from the SEAT approach. How do you introduce yourself with impact? You start with your skills, you move to your experience, you go to your achievements, and then your traits, or you can call T type of person. Who are you as an individual beyond the technical experiences and what you've been able to achieve? So I'm going to break this down into practical steps. How do you get the skills, the experience, the achievements, and how do you bring this together to introduce yourself in less than 90 seconds, 1 minute, 30 seconds? You're done introducing yourself in any interview. All right. So when you look at the skills, what are you looking at exactly? What are you good at? What can you do? What abilities or technologies can you use? So in your specific career path, you're trying to get a job as a data engineer. What are the tools required, or what are the tools expected for you to know on that job? What skills do you bring to the table? And these are the things you need to highlight. Okay. So what are you good at? You have to start with that. And at every point in time, you are aligning your introduction to the job you're applying to. Okay. So let's take, for example, you're applying to a data engineering role, and the role expects or requires that you know how to use cloud technologies like Azure, Microsoft Azure, or GCP, Google Cloud Platform. You can't start your introduction without highlighting those tools or technologies. What are you good at? They want somebody who knows Google Cloud Platform, GCP. You must start your introduction that way. I'm good with the use of GCP. I'm an experienced data engineer with expertise in using GCP or AWS, Microsoft Azure, as the case might be. All right. So you start with your skills. Then experience is you simply telling them, I have 2 years experience, 5 years experience. This is what I've done before. This is where I've worked and the different sectors that I've worked in. So if you're trying to get a job with a company in the financial services sector, and you know that you have experience in financial services, you've worked in the banking industry, you've worked in insurance, you've worked in the capital market, investment banks, you want to bring that to the fore in your introduction. All right. How many years of experience do you bring? And where have you worked before? What have you done essentially? Then your achievements. I can't overemphasize the importance of this. And this is what enables you drive the conversation going forward. I always love to be in control. When I was getting jobs back in Nigeria, when I moved from the financial services sector to energy, even when I moved from Nigeria to the UK, getting a job in the automobile industry, I always wanted to control the interview, which is very difficult to do because the interviewers have seen your CV, they've prepared their questions, and they're going to ask you questions around different areas: competency-based questions, behavioral questions, culture fit questions, situational questions, and so on. They prepare those questions. But how do you drive the narrative from the get-go? It starts from your achievements. Every company wants to hire a superstar. They want somebody who can do the job, that's done the job for them before, that's done the job before and can do it for them. So you want to show that you are a superstar. You want to show them what you've done and enable them, ask you questions based on your achievements of what you've done in your previous roles. All right. And I'll show you how to couch that as we move on. Okay. So your achievement is simply your key deliverables where you worked before, your key wins or results that you've been able to accomplish. What did you accomplish that was of impact? A minimum of 2 during your introduction. Straight to the point, but at least 2 achievements. This would give them room, or you'd give them room to ask you further questions on that. And it has happened every single time I've done this. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I think it just stopped sharing. I'm just going to share my screen again and let's continue. Please let me know as soon as you can see my screen. Okay, perfect. So I think my screen is up. If you can see my screen and my screen is up, just give me a thumbs up. Use a thumbs up emoji so I know that we are good to go. All right. Thanks for that, Wesley, Christiana. Fantastic. So your achievement is what you use to drive the conversation. Let them ask you questions on it. And I've used that so many times. There was a time I got a call from a recruiter back in the UK, and they asked me questions. Oh, I was looking through your CV. I uploaded my CV on CV Library, and I got a call. And they asked me questions around, oh, I've seen your CV. Very interesting. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? When I went to my achievements, I talked about the time where I worked on a project for one of the largest integrated oil and gas companies in Nigeria. And my reports led me to make presentation to the vice president, Yemi Osibajo, when he was still in power at that time. And I talked about that particular analysis I did and the report and my presentation to the vice president. And she was so marveled. Oh, can you tell me a little bit more about that? And I could hear her clicking her laptop, typing out, on her keyboard as I was explaining what I did exactly. 2 days after, I got a call from that same recruiter that they were placing me in an organization. And that was how I got my very first job in the automobile sector while I was still in the UK. So you want to drive that conversation from your achievements. What did you do that was of impact that can get people to ask you questions? Oh, can you tell us a little bit more about this project? And that's where you start to shine and you take control over that interview process essentially. Then last but not the least, your traits and your type of person. So who are you as an individual? Okay, your personal qualities that defines how you're going to do the work when you join that organization. Okay, now your personal qualities must always align to the core values of the organization. And I'll show you how to check this. All right. So if your own personal core values are you're problem solving, you like to solve problems, you take punctuality and professionalism as important qualities, in life. What if the organization you're looking at, part of their core values involves teamwork, or their core values involve something related to what you don't have personally? You must ensure that you tie your traits and your type of person to the core values of that particular organization. And how can you check? Very simple. Google the organization and just put core values at the back. Okay. So you want to get a job with Scotiabank in Canada, for example. You want to get a job with EPCOR. All you need to do, just simply type Scotiabank core values. You want to get a job with Lloyds Bank. You want to get a job with NatWest. Just type it out, NatWest core values. And you'd see the core values. And you tie that to your own traits and your type of person. Okay. So practically, how do we start putting this together one step at a time? How do we answer this question effectively? Tell me about yourself. So all you need to do, and this is the way we have taught thousands of people to do it. I've done it. It's worked for me exceptionally well, and it's worked for thousands and thousands of people who have gone ahead to get jobs. List all your technical skills. That's what you start with. If you're good with Excel, you're good with Power BI, you're good with SQL, Tableau, Python, list it. All your technical skills, you start with that. Then you list out your years of experience. I have 2 years experience, 5 years experience, 10 years experience. And then I've worked across 3 sectors or 1 sector. Okay. You list the sectors you've worked in and then your years of experience. That's pretty straightforward. Then you must also list out 2 major achievements. You would have achieved so many things back in where your previous organizations or where you've worked before, but you want to avoid listing out tasks and responsibilities. A lot of people do that, but it's a very big mistake. You need to list achievements that have impact. So they are metrics driven and they're also impact driven. When you solve this problem, how did the company benefit from the problem you solved? Okay, so you list 2 major achievements from your previous workplace. List it on a paper, on a sheet of paper somewhere. And finally, you want to research, Google that company. Okay, look for the company, Google the company, look for their core values. Or let's try one very quickly. Let's see if we can get the core values of any company. Okay, so let's do NatWest. So I'm going to type NatWest Group core values. Okay, so say I'm trying to look for the core value of any company because I want to tailor my traits or my type of person when I'm introducing myself. So I Google that, and let me expand this a bit so we can see this clearly. So NatWest, I type in the core values, our values. I go here and let's look at this. Okay. So what do you see? What are their core values? Okay, so they even have a code a code of conduct. Maybe you want to download and read your code of conduct, because research is absolutely important to you landing that job eventually. When they know that you've researched into the company, you know what we do, they're more confident that you can do the job for them. Okay. We start with customers. So they're customer centric. It's a core value for them. We raise the bar, which means you must go above and beyond on that job. All right. And we own our impact, responsibility for the job, and owning job ownership is also very critical to them. So looking at this, you can't talk about you as an individual, your traits, or your type of person without infusing one of these core values into your introduction. And this is how you do it. Search the company, search their core values, and you'd see that pop out. Okay. So how do you, as a data analyst, I'm trying to apply to a job and I'm a data analyst. I want to introduce myself. I've gotten into that interview and somebody has asked the question, oh, hi, Adeza, nice to meet you. How are you doing today? We've had our small talk and, what do you think about the elections coming up in Canada? Who do you think, you've talked about those very key, subtle, you've warmed yourself up to them. All right. The next thing for you to do is, and of course, you want to avoid political topics as much as possible. Talk about the weather. Okay. Talk about your research into the company. Oh, I see that you do a lot of, team bonding exercises. You do a lot of philanthropic initiatives, and you want to ask questions around that. Okay. So just to warm yourself up to them. And then you now move into, tell me about yourself. Can we get to meet you? So how do you attempt to answer that question? So I'm a data analyst and somebody has asked the question, tell me about yourself. Remember, you start with your skills. What are you good at? What can you do? And what are your abilities? Okay. So my name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm a data analyst with a strong focus on data visualization and data storytelling. I have hands-on experience or hands-on expertise with the use of Excel, Power BI, SQL, and Tableau, which I've used to drive actionable insights across different industries. Okay, so I had listed all my tools, like the tools I can use, the technologies I can bring to the table. And I'm simply telling them, my name is Adeza. I'm a data analyst. I focus a little bit more on data visualization and data storytelling. And of course, you can't go beyond what would inform data visualization, data storytelling, business intelligence would be the job requirement. Who are they looking for? They're looking for a data analyst with a focus on database, a focus on business intelligence. You want to highlight that. Okay. So that's how you start. List out your skills and what you bring to the table. I'm a data analyst with a focus on data visualization, data storytelling, hands-on experience with tools like Excel, Power BI, SQL, and Tableau to drive actionable insights. The next question is, where have you worked before? I bring over 10 years of experience spanning across energy, automobile, and the financial services sector where I worked as a data analyst. Simple and short, number of years of experience and the sectors where you've worked. What are your key achievements? Back when I worked with Amber Energy in the energy sector, I developed the company's first data warehouse, creating a single source of truth for reporting, which drastically improved data accuracy. I also built a time series model in Excel that formed the backbone of a new maintenance plan. And this maintenance plan helped save the company over $6 million monthly in maintenance fees. This is actually a real achievement, this one. And there is no time. I talk about this during an interview. Of course, the name of the company is not Amber Energy. That's just a fictitious company. But there is no time I've talked about saving a company $6 million and somebody has not asked further questions. Tell me how you did it so I know how you can do it for me. All right. So you list your achievements. And then finally, professionally, I pride myself on being a team player who leads by example I approach every challenge with a problem solving mindset, and my core values are professionalism and punctuality, which guides everything that I do. Simple and short. This is something you say in 60 seconds. All right. So, because you are doing this differently for the first time, you don't want to memorize. I never memorized this, but I know it well enough to know what I've done before. I know my number of years of experience. I know the sectors I've worked in. I know the skills that I bring to the table. So when I'm saying this, I'm saying it so eloquently in a way that it captures the attention of all the interviewers. All right. Remember the seat approach every single time. My name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm a data analyst with a strong focus on data visualization and data storytelling. I have hands-on expertise with the use of Excel, Power BI, SQL, and Tableau, which I use to drive actionable insights. I bring over 10 years experience spanning across energy, automobile, and the financial services sector, where I worked as a data analyst. In my role at Amber Energy, I developed the first ever data warehouse, creating a single source of truth for reporting, which led to drastically improving data accuracy. I also built a time series model in Excel that informed the backbone of a new maintenance plan, and this helped save the company over $6 million monthly in maintenance fees. I pride myself on being a team player who leads by example. I approach every challenge with a problem-solving mindset, and my core values are professionalism and punctuality, which guides everything that I do. That's how you introduce yourself using the seat approach. Now, imagine you are trying to apply to a company like NatWest, just like I highlighted. And NatWest is looking for somebody who is customer centric, like we saw. They want somebody who is customer centric, somebody who goes above and beyond, and somebody who leads, who takes initiative in terms of impact, owns their job, and ensures that they deliver with impact. So you want to take these three different core values and imbibe them as part of your introduction. So rather than saying you have a problem solving mindset, your core values are professionalism and punctuality, you move to, you can say something like, I pride myself on being a team player who leads by example. I am customer focused, and I always ensure that I raise my standards when it comes to my deliverables. I take full ownership of the project that I work on, and I ensure that I'm customer first in my thinking. I deliver excellently, and accountability is always my watchword. These core values are closely aligned with your organization, and that's why I think I'm the best person for this job. Okay, so you start by doing that. And when you introduce yourself this way, there is nobody that will not look at you the second time and want to ask you further questions on your achievements, what you've done before, and what you can bring to the table. And that's what the seat approach is all about. Introduction with impact. So you can't attend a session like this and go back. And when you're asked the question, tell me about yourself, you start to rumble, blab, and ramble on and on. Okay. So write it down. Like I said, you always start with listing out your skills. You list your years of experience, the sectors where you have worked before. You go to your achievements, your two major achievements, what you've done before. When I joined my first company in the energy sector, they had no data warehouse. So what did you do? You built a data warehouse for them. That's a major achievement for anybody, especially if they are looking for somebody who has skills in data warehousing, databases, SQL. All right. You built a time series model to help address the maintenance plan of that company. And it saved the company over $6 million per month in maintenance fees. Any interviewer would ask you further questions on that. And anytime I said this during interviews, I have always gotten follow-up questions. And that's how I control the interview. Because I want them to know I'm a superstar. I want them to know I'm good. I want them to know I bring this to the table. So whenever I talk about this, they asked me questions. Tell me a little bit more about this project. And it was a project in the energy sector where the company needed to know how many units in our plant do we need to shut down at a particular period in time. And what did we do? What did I do at that point in time? I took data, historical data, we mapped the data out, we did a time series analysis, and we could see clearly the best periods for the company to shut down their plants and go for maintenance. Because if you shut down every single minute you shut down any of your units, you are losing money. Okay, so it was always guess. People would always guess that this is the best period. All right. But what did I do? I came in, developed a model that could tell us clearly the period during the year where if we shut down the plants at this time between this window, we are not going to lose money as much as we would the way we've been doing it before. And this saved the company millions and millions of dollars. All right. So it's a bit more in detail. If I go into the detailed explanation and so on, which I won't want to go into right now. And that's how you direct and guide people to ask you questions, and you can shine and tell them how good you are. All right. Now, for you to even do the seats approach, okay, or do the seats technique during an interview, you must get interviews. That's the first thing that must happen. And just to see those that are following me, when you look at the seat approach and type into the charts if you want to respond, your achievements, what's the minimum number of achievements that you must have when introducing yourself using the seat approach? Just type into the chart if you remember the minimum number of achievements that you must talk about during your interview. If you remember, type it into the chat. Onize says 2. Okay, let's get more feedback and let's do if Onize is correct. Rachel says 2. Edo says 2. Okay, so you were all listening to me. So minimum of 2 achievements. You don't want to go on and on because your introduction should not be more than 90 seconds of impact directly selling yourself to them. All right. But for you to do the seat approach, you must land interviews. And for you to land interviews, you're applying to 10 to 15 jobs per day. Those interviews would not just come. You must apply to 10 to 15 jobs every single day. All right. And for you to apply and apply 10 to 15 jobs per day, you are looking at landing a job offer. And for you to get an offer, on the average, you are applying to a minimum of approximately 267 jobs. For you to get an offer that would likely lead to a job, you need to have applied to about 267 jobs. And this is a study done by Hiring Thing that shows that for you to land a job offer, you must have applied to 267 jobs. Now, it seems very simple or very straightforward, but where it gets a bit tricky is how do I apply to 10 to 15 jobs? What most people do is they take one CV or they go to LinkedIn and they do easy apply, but that never works. You never get the best type of results by doing that or taking one CV and applying to multiple roles. What you want to do is tailor. You must always tailor your CVs to the jobs, the job requirements. If the job wants ABC, your CV would have those keywords ABC. Your CV would be keyword optimized for the job. Keyword optimized. And the reason why we want keyword optimized CVs is simply because a human being would not evaluate the CV at the initial stage. That'll be done by a computer, a software, a system called the ATS, the applicant tracking system or the applicant tracking software. So it would simply take the keywords from the job requirements, take the keywords from your CV and do a match. How much do you match this particular job? And usually companies would set the threshold at 85 to 90% at the minimum. So which means if you don't match the job requirements by a minimum of 85%, don't, think of getting an interview. And that's why sometimes you put in your application, immediately you get a rejection because you don't match the keywords. So when you start thinking about the work involved, the stress involved in applying to 10 jobs or 15 jobs per day in order to land an interview, then you realize that it's a lot of work. I've worked with so many people, thousands of people, mentored, coached, prepared them for interviews. Some of them are mothers. They have their children. They just moved to the UK. Their husbands currently don't have anything they are doing. Somebody is doing masters. The other person is staying at home, taking care of the kids, and they need to go work. So they don't even have the time to start to apply. For some people, they are taking shifts morning, evening, afternoon, evening, just to ensure they make enough money to cover their bills and expenses, cost of living, essentially. So how do you sit down, take out time and apply to 10 to 15 jobs per day and apply to an average of about 267 jobs in order to land a job offer? And that's where Talent Loop comes in. Talent Loop is a company under Amdari, and what we do is we take this heavy lifting away from you. You don't have to bother about doing the application. Talent Loop will do it for you. So we take the jobs you want to apply to and we help you apply to those jobs. All right. So we work on your CV, we work on your LinkedIn, and we do all those amazing stuff to ensure that rather than you thinking of how you're going to put in these applications, we would put in the applications for you. And the overall outcome is to help you land interviews. And that's what we do at Talent Loop. Now, for you to land interviews, for you to even put in applications, you need to have the right LinkedIn and the right CV. Your CV must be keyword optimized. It must be ATS compliant. You must be able to go past the ATS system. And at the other end, you get invited for an interview rather than rejections. So what we do is we revamp and we review your CV and your LinkedIn profile to ensure that you land those interviews. Now we know that the CV, the LinkedIn, these are your digital representations, and this is what would help you attract and get those potential companies and recruiters to get you on board for an interview. Once we have this done, we then go ahead to apply to jobs on your behalf. So you don't have to bother applying to jobs. You can apply on your own. That's up to you. But we take that heavy lifting from you and we apply to jobs every single day. And we manage the entire application process. All right. So you don't have to bother about applying. We do this for you. We apply to jobs for you. And this is what lands you your interviews. And once we put in applications for you, we guarantee a minimum of 3 interviews within the space of 6 to 8 weeks. Now, all you need to bother yourself about is, when is my next interview? You're looking at your email because you create a dedicated email for the applications. We have access to that dedicated email. So you don't use your current email because, of course, you'd have personal, private, communication and elements in your email. So you create a new email for the purpose of applying to jobs. We have access to that new email and we use that to apply. So the next thing is somebody sending you a message. Nana, you have an interview next week. Edidiong, you have an interview in 2-3 days time, because we are doing all the applications and we guarantee a minimum. It could be more, but we guarantee a minimum of 3 interviews within the space of 6 to 8 weeks. And once you get those interviews, you then have your interview preparation. So you don't have to do it yourself, do it blindly, make all the mistakes and come back to say, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't know what to say when I was asked this question. I didn't know how to introduce myself when I got the question. Tell me about yourself. We prepare you. The seat approach is one of the major, that's the first thing we do with you. Tell me about yourself. Can I get to meet you, Edidiong? Can I get to meet you, Biodun? All right. So that's how we start with you. So we prepare you for those interviews. You know exactly what you're going in to do. and you sell yourself during the interview. Okay. So looking at all of this, this is what lands you the job. And I'm going to share some success stories with you. So when you have this, for us at Talent Loop, from your CV to your LinkedIn to applying to jobs, securing interviews, interview prep, the overall outcome is to ensure that you are able to land that job that has been so difficult for you to get. We started our April cohort at the beginning of April. We have a cohort that would start in May, and we have just 20 slots available. We don't take too many people because of the dedicated services that we provide to you. So we have just 20 slots, very limited slots available for the next batch. Okay. So we have a total of about 40. 20 slots are gone already, but we have just 20 slots left. For those who would like to join our May batch, this is the best time for you to join. But let's look at some success stories. Have people done this before? Have they gotten value? And the success stories have been absolutely phenomenal. It's 100%. We don't have a failure rate. And the reason is because until we get you that minimum of 3 interviews, we don't let you go. So there is no case of, oh, I joined and I did not get interviews and I'm just going without, I'm going with nothing. Never happens. All right. So until you get your minimum of 3 interviews, we don't let you go. Okay. And that's the value that we bring to you as an individual. So let's look at Ene. I'm going to start with the most recent. Ene's story was one that really gladdened my heart. And I'll tell you a little bit about Ene. Ene landed a job as a data scientist in the UK. Ene, just like so many people, moved to the UK. She went for her master's program, and Ene joined Tenalytics, which is a sister company to Amdari. She learned data science with us. She completed her program sometime, I think, in December 2024. And immediately she completed her program with us, she enrolled with Talent Loop in January because she needed to get a job. Now I'm done with my master's. I'm not going to have enough time to do my job applications to get a job as a data scientist. But please, I want to join Talent Loop. Ensure that you apply to jobs for me. She joined us in January this year. We secured multiple interviews for her. We prepared her for those multiple interviews. And in this month of April, Ene landed a job as a data scientist. And she secured this job just in less than 2 months of working with us. And this is Ene's message with the professional that was assigned to her for her job application. And this is Ene. These are preparation during the interviews. Okay, all the different preparation. I updated the Python script using VS Code. Well done, and so on. Okay, I got another email this morning, and finally she sent a message that I got the offer this month in April. Now, because Ene had joined Tenalytics, okay, one of the things we also do at Tenalytics is provide you with job references. Because when you join us at Tenalytics, you are joining us as a contractor. All right. So when you get a job, we provide you with a reference. And the company reached out. So Ene used our details, sent an email, for her referee, and we provided that reference. So this is Ene. I completed this reference for Ene. So it's a background check, a reference check for Ene. I completed the details, and Ene is well on her way to securing this job as a data scientist. She just completed her training in December 2024. She joined Talent Loop in January, and by April, she's landed a job. Absolutely phenomenal. Then you have Yetunde, fantastic professional. Yetunde is in the US, in New York. She joined us last month in March. Yetunde wanted to get a job as a customer support specialist. So she joined us. I've been applying. I've been trying to get a job, but I haven't been able to get a job. I need Talent Loop to help me. We worked with Yetunde. She joined us in March this year. That was last month. And in less than a month, we applied to jobs for her. She landed interviews. We prepared her for our interviews, and she got a job as a customer support specialist with Eclex in New York, in the US, this month in April, less than a month after joining us. Okay. And of course, the same gentleman that helps Ene land that job was the same person that worked with Yetunde, and Yetunde got this job. All right. So I'm hopeful. This was after her interview. All right. She was sending a message. I'm hopeful. This week is when they promised I'm going to get to feedback. And then she sent a message. Hi, I got the job. Okay. And this is Yetunde's story. So a lot of people ask this question: do I just get a job in tech, or can I get any type of job? You can get any type of job. All you need to do, what type of job are you looking to get? We look at that as part of the preference to the jobs we'll be applying to, and we secure those interviews for you. So this is Yetunde. You have Temidayo. Temidayo landed a project management role just 1 month after subscribing to Talent Loop. She used to work as a Scrum Master back in Winnipeg, in Canada. Okay. She subscribed to Talent Loop on the 1st of February. 1st of February this year, she subscribed. That was just about a month ago, thereabouts. She subscribed to Talent Loop. We secured 4 interviews for her. Okay, remember, the minimum interviews we secure is 3. That's the guarantee that we give you. We're going to get you 3 interviews at the minimum between 6 to 8 weeks. We got 4 interviews for Temidayo. We prepared her for our interviews as a project manager, and she landed that job in March. It was a far higher pay than what she was earning as a Scrum Master. Just about a month after she joined. She joined in February, got the job in March. All right. And that's Temidayo as well, sending a message to the person who worked with her. I wanted to tell you that I got the offer from one of the companies I interviewed with. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate you and your team. So that's Temidayo. And there's so many other professionals. Mercy Jimo is in Nigeria. Mercy Jimo has gotten multiple interviews. You have Christiana as well, multiple interviews. And there are links for you to click and listen to these professionals. We're still waiting for video, testimonials from Temidayo, from Yetunde, and from Ene. Theirs are very recent. And of course, for them to also share their journey. Oh, this was what, I had to do and how I was able to land the job. So people like you can also learn from how they were also able to make this transition. All right. And how did they do this? Talent Loop, working on their CVs, working on the LinkedIn, applying to jobs, getting those interviews, preparing them for the interviews, and that's how they secured the job. So there are 3 different packages, and I'm going to highlight these packages very quickly. All right. There's the basic package. You have the premium package, and then you have the comprehensive package. But how are these 3 packages different? Now, for the basic package, all right, we're going to start with the basic package. For the basic package, this is where you have the time to apply to jobs yourself. So you don't want Talent Loop to do it for you. All right. You want to apply yourself. Okay. Even though I can tell you for free that the job application process is not just looking for a job and applying. So part of the things we do, like the question I got in the chat from Nana, do you help with visa sponsorship? Yes, we do. So we consider that as part of the preference when you join, Talent Loop. So we have paid and subscribed platforms, premium platforms that you pay to, job boards that you pay to. Okay, for visa sponsorship, for example, if you want to get visa sponsorship and you're applying on your conventional job boards, your LinkedIn, your CV Library, your Glassdoor, you're not going to get the type of jobs that you need to get fast enough. All right. So what we do is we pay to jobs that gather all these different visa sponsorship from companies, and then you have to subscribe to them. So we pay for those subscriptions and we use the jobs from those platforms because they're not available to everyone. And that's where you start to get jobs a lot faster. All right. But are we just going to apply to only visa sponsorship roles for you, Nana? The answer is no. That would be the preference for us. But if we limit the application to just jobs that come with visa sponsorship, you'd have very limited options. And I would explain that at the end of my presentation because there are different strategies to landing sponsorship. I'll explain that as we move on. All right. So the basic package is where you want to do your application yourself. You want to apply to the conventional job boards. You only want your CV. You want your LinkedIn. So we do your LinkedIn, we update your CV, have it in the right format, have an optimized LinkedIn profile. And that's just for $50. We get this done in 48 hours. We optimize your CV, optimize your LinkedIn, and then we send that to you. That's the basic package. The premium package comes with the basic package and also the job application. All right. So you want to apply to jobs. You want us to apply to jobs for you. You don't want to do it yourself. You want those that know how to do it, the people that know how to do it, they have the right the right tools and so on to apply to these jobs. They know the right strategies to get you interviews a lot faster than you would. All right. So the premium package comes with the CV, the LinkedIn optimization, and of course, the job application. And the guarantee is a minimum of 3 interviews. Minimum of 3 interviews within the space of 6 to 8 weeks. And then the comprehensive package is where you have everything in basic, everything in premium, and it comes with the interview prep. So if you have an interview, so we get you those minimum of 3 interviews, or you get more than 3 interviews, and you need to be prepped for those interviews. We prepare you for the interviews. So a professional will jump on a call with you, prepare you for the interviews, have a mock interview session, ask you questions, be looking at the job requirements and preempt the type of questions you're likely going to get and prepare you for those interviews. Ene was a beneficiary of multiple interviews, all right? And that was what helped her land that job. Same with Temidayo, an experienced professional project manager worked with Temidayo, prepared her for her interviews, and she was able to land that job. Same with Yetunde, who got a job as a customer support specialist, working with a professional that guided her through every single process during the interview stages, filling the background check information, all the details that you need, and so on and so forth. All right, so these are the different packages, and I'll show you, for those of you interested in getting started, like I said, the cohort for May, we have just 20 slots left. Usually what happens after a session like this, all the slots are gone in less than 5 days, less than a week, all the slots are gone. So take advantage, ensure that you want to get that job. You'll be looking to get interviews for a customer support role like Yetunde wanted to get. It seemed pretty straightforward, but she couldn't land an interview. And all we had to do was work on our CV, work on our LinkedIn. We put in a few applications and we got her the interviews. We prepared her and she got the job. All right. So how do I take advantage of the offer that we have running at the moment? So all you have to do, my colleagues would share the link in the chat. They've been sending the link, and I'll just simply, once you click on that link, it takes you to the enrollment page. So you'd see the different, the 3 packages, the comprehensive, the premium, and the basic. So I want everything. I want to get you to do my application for me. I want to get prepared for my interviews and so on. Okay, so you want that, you want this comprehensive package. I click on that and it takes me to the comprehensive package. So it doesn't also matter where you are. If you're in the UK, you're going to see the currency in pounds. If you're in Canada, you'd see Canadian dollars. If you're in the US, you'd see US dollars. Or you can decide on the currency to pay you'd like to pay. So we have 20 slots available. All right. So I want to pay for the comprehensive package. All I need to do is, instead of paying 459 Canadian dollars, so the discount is 382. All right, which is the equivalent of the $250 you would have paid US dollars. So if I want to pay US dollars and I come here, click on US dollars, I would see instead of paying 300 US dollars, I only get to pay 250 So there's an amazing discount available for those who would like to get in. All right. So depending on the currency, select your currency and you click on subscribe. Okay. So if I select Canadian dollars, for example, I want to pay in Canadian dollars and I click on subscribe. All right. All I have to do is I'll see what I'm paying for the comprehensive package. I'm in Alberta. Alberta, Canada has a sales tax of 5%. So depending on your region, if you're in the UK, you're in the US, specific regions in the US, you'd have the applicable GST or the VAT depending on your location. All right. And all I have to do, enter my full name. Okay. Adeza Suleiman, enter my email address, and then I click on proceed. At the moment I click on proceed, I can then select how do you want to pay. Okay, I want to pay with my credit card or debit card. So I select that and it takes me to, I enter my card details, the expiration date and all of that, my zip code, and I confirm payment. The moment I do this, I'll get automatically redirected to complete a registration form. And I would also get redirected after that to schedule an onboarding call. So the onboarding call is for 15 minutes, which is a call between you and the team lead that would work with you. All right. So that's where we get all the information that we need from you. Okay. If there's any information that you have not filled on the form, you've not completed, we send the form to you again, and then you complete that form. Okay, complete the missing details, and those are the details we'd work with. So when Nana asked the question, do you help with visa sponsorship? And I answered yes. So part of the questions you'd see while filling the form, is are you looking for visa sponsorship and all of that? What preference? Are there industries you want to ignore? You want us to ignore? Are there companies you don't want us to apply to? And we get all those different basics from you, and that's what would inform how we start to put the job applications, and that's how you start to secure jobs. All right. I've seen too many people knowing exactly what to do, but unfortunately, they don't know how to apply. Okay. Onize is asking, are these testimonials from people that went through Analytics training or just people that subscribe to Talent Loop? Out of the testimonial, Mercy, this lady right here, sorry, just to answer that question very quickly. Mercy joined Analytics. Okay, the lady at the top. Let me highlight her very quickly. Mercy, sorry. So Mercy joined Analytics, and also Ene, just like I mentioned. Temidaya was just somebody like you, Onize, who joined, keyed into the program, and she landed a job as a project manager. Same with Yetunde. Yetunde wanted to get a job as a customer support specialist. She joined a session like this, subscribed in March, and she got a job in April. But Ene was also somebody who went through Analytics. All right. One of the things we teach at Analytics are the things that I've shown you today. But the major differentiating factor on who gets a job and who doesn't is the person that is able to apply those things you've learned. So you know that I'm meant to apply to 10 jobs a day, but you're applying to 2 jobs or 1 job. There is no way you're going to get success. All right. So for somebody like Ene, she knew immediately that, oh, I have jobs I'm doing. All right. I have shifts I'm going to work. I have jobs I'm going to do. I'm not going to have the time to put in the application. So do it for me. Okay. But for somebody like Yetunde didn't go through Analytics. She joined a session like this and joined the program. All right. So just Ene and Mercy. Okay. So I don't know if I answered that question for you. And just to wrap up once more, the discount ends after we've gotten 20 people. So we have 20 slots. Once the 20 slots are filled, the discount ends immediately. All right. So I'll take questions and then would call it a day. So we have more questions. So it is after my trainer analytics that I should subscribe to Talent Loop. I would suggest that, Onize. That's what I'll recommend, absolutely. Because a lot of the things that you're going to get from Talent Loop, you get that from Tenalytics. For example, your interview prep already comes with your Tenalytics registration. Okay, so even if you want to subscribe to Talent Loop today, you don't need to pay for the comprehensive, which comes with interview prep, because you already have that with Tenalytics, if you get what I mean. Okay. All right. So if we have more questions, I'll take questions. If you want to speak, raise your hand. If you want to type into the chat, type, and I'll pick your questions from there. Gifts, Warieta, thanks for joining us today. Good to see you in this session. Good to know that you're here with us. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the chat to see if I have any other questions I haven't addressed already, and then I'll take those questions. All right, Edidion, please go ahead. You have a question for us. Hi, Edidion.
Hi, Adeza.
How are you doing today?
I'm all right. Actually, I'm a analytic graduate.
Okay.
I did the data analytics program of May 2024 cohort. So should I say I've been in the system. I know what you guys do and what you guys are capable of. But the
Yeah.
honest truth is that after my training and the internship that I did, I even led a group during the program. I was with Jennifer, Khadijat,
Yep.
Mohammed. Yeah, I was with them. So, but after my program and the internship, I got really ill. Like I was in and out of the
Oh,
hospital. So I basically could not apply for jobs. Like I could not really do anything that we were taught. Like I just had to pack up. And then again, I also had school stuff that I was handling. I was doing my project then. That was September of last year. So
yeah.
I had to, you know, diversify my time to basically my health and try to complete I didn't want to defer my project to
Yeah.
complete my project. So earlier on this year, after I had graduated, I'm in the UK actually. I felt I should apply the things I learned in analytics to see if I could get a job.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple interviews already, though, but I have not had any feedback from them. So I don't know if I passed or not. But I just went through because I still have access to those dashboards, the classroom portal and the other portal. So I still go
Yeah.
to those materials to look at what we learned during though it's been a while, during the session that I had with you guys then that last year. So I had a
Yeah.
couple interviews, but I have not had any feedback from them. And then I've done Amdari, but I've not been able to do any project there yet. So when I heard about Talent Loop, I felt I should probably just come again, then maybe to refresh my memory on the things I'd learned with analytics and see how far I can go. So
Yeah.
I did not even know you guys were on a discount already because I was gonna ask if there
Yeah.
won't be any discount for us that have been with analytics already. A further discount because I like to subscribe for the package because honestly I've still not sorted my health yet. I'm still in and out of the hospital, so that weighs me down most times, and I really have time to apply for jobs. So I like that to
Okay.
be handled for me, and also my LinkedIn to be optimized. So I don't know if there could be a further discount for us that have been in the program with you guys already, and see how we could go from there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So sorry about your health, Edid Young. Good to
Thank
know
you.
that you're feeling a lot better now. So take care of yourself as much as you can. Okay. So
Thank you.
for a Tenalytics alumnus, what I always advise is you don't want to go for the comprehensive. The comprehensive package is $250. You don't want
Okay.
to go. You don't want to go for that. You want to go for the $150. And the reason why is simple. Your joining Tenalytics already comes with interview prep.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you ever have any interview, all you need to do is let me just show you this very quickly. If you go to your platform, analytics. If you go to your dashboard,
Yeah.
right, you have an interview. All you have to do is click on schedule appointments on your dashboard. Okay.
Okay.
Once you
Okay.
click on schedule appointments, just schedule a session. It doesn't matter when you graduated. You graduated last year, 2 years ago. As long
Okay.
as you're on this platform, you can always book your interview prep from here.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's why I would advise that rather than going for comprehensive, just go for the
The
premium.
premium package.
Yeah.
I'll
So
do
for the
that right
premium,
away.
you get everything in comprehensive because you already have access to the interview prep, if you get what I
Oh,
mean.
okay. Yeah. Thank you. Because I
All
think
right.
a couple weeks back, I even requested for a reference. So and I got that from you. I was quite surprised. I didn't
Yeah.
need to come to try. So thank you very much for that.
It's a pleasure anytime.
Yeah, I'll subscribe for the premium package.
All right. Fantastic. Okay. So let me
Thank
hear
you.
from Rebecca. You're welcome. And good to hear from you again, Edith Young.
Thank you very much, Adeza.
All right. It's a pleasure. Yes. Rebecca, go ahead, please.
Hi, it is good evening.
Good
Thank you
evening,
very
Rebecca.
much. Sorry, I joined late. I would like to know what the discount is, and I just want to know how about portfolio, like portfolio optimization kind of. Is it just LinkedIn, like you're just trying to update? I mean, optimize the LinkedIn,
Yeah.
or you're helping with portfolio?
Okay. All right, good question. So for your LinkedIn, we don't go into the portfolio creation and all of that. All right. So I'll give you a very good example of what we do. So I'm going to use Ene as a case study. Okay. So Ene, just like Edith Young, joint analytics, did amazing stuff. She landed a job. So in preparing you for the interviews you're going to get. It doesn't just come by just throwing applications all over the place. Your CV, your LinkedIn, and all of those things play a major role. All right. So I'm going to go to NS LinkedIn profile, and I just want to show you something very important that a lot of people ignore, but once your LinkedIn is optimized, you get all these things sorted out. Okay. So let's go to NS profile. Your LinkedIn helps you do two things, and there are two things we focus on when working on your LinkedIn. Number one is the push. We push your profile to organizations. So when we put out applications for you, we don't just stop there. We reach out to these organizations to let them know that I'm recommending this person. So it's like Rebecca wants to get a job with, say, Virgin in the UK, Virgin Mobile or Virgin Bank or something, Virgin Financial. And they've put in an application, they've put in a vacancy, we've put in an application for you. I'll then go to the recruiter, the recruiting. Okay. Olushe, if you can mute Wesley. I think Wesley mistakenly unmuted again. So we go to that organization's, the recruiting manager, the hiring manager, we go there and we pitch your profile to them. So that's the push. We push your profile to people. And there's also the pull. The pull is where we try to ensure that organizations reach out to you. So one of the things you start to see when we work on your LinkedIn is you start getting messages, multiple messages from companies looking to hire for that role. And one of the ways we do this is through your posting. So if I go to NS profile and I go to show all posts, okay, one of the things you see that NN does, which is what would also advise you to do every time, every day, is make post as often as possible. So we recommend the type of post you need to make. So NN posts every single day. If you go to our profile, this was posted 2 days ago. Okay, you go to the next one. This was posted 4 days ago, and this is not just random posts. So 4 days ago, she was sending a message. She made this post. I had 10 plus interview rounds in April, talking about the interviews she had gone through in the month of April already. All right. And of course, she landed this particular job offer. Okay. So this is where she's talking about this post she made on LinkedIn. This LinkedIn post landed me an interview invite. All right. So from what we've done, you're going to start getting interview invites. Organizations would reach out to you. And we also guide you on how to ensure that you post on a daily basis. And this is what attracts recruiters to you. Okay. So you see that every day, Anna is posting what she does as a data scientist, who she is, and so on and so forth. So that this is the pull part of the strategy. And then there's the push part. If you don't have a portfolio already, Anna has one right here. If you go back to her profile, she has a portfolio, and that's the benefits of joining 10 Analytics. She has a GitHub profile right here. Okay, so if you click on that, it takes you to her profile, and you can see that she's worked with us at 10 Analytics. If you don't have a portfolio, we're not going to create one for you, but we can guide you on how you can build one. Are you a 10 Analytics alumnus, Rebecca?
Yes, I am. I have a
Okay,
portfolio, but then not fully. Portfolio I had is based on what were thoughts, but it kind of when I apply for jobs, I see recruiters going through my LinkedIn and not
yeah,
getting back to me. So it's really
yeah,
I don't know what's wrong.
yeah. So,
So
but that's not a problem. As long as you're a 10 Analytics alumnus, it's not a, that's the list of your problems for you because we'll show you what to do. All right. So it's not like you're coming from ground zero. You don't have a portfolio. You don't know what to do. You don't know what a portfolio is. You have one,
yeah,
and you probably have one or two issues, and that's something that would easily fix for you along the line. All right. So, like I explained to Edidion the other time, for any 10 Analytics alumnus, you don't need to go for the comprehensive and pay $250. You can simply do the premium of 150, and it also comes with the interview prep. The difference between premium and comprehensive is the interview prep. Okay, so you already have interview prep as an alumnus of 10 Analytics, so you don't need to go back to do that. So what I can recommend for you to do, Rebecca, is if you go for the premium, that's where you get everything in comprehensive as well, with your interview prep, would work on your LinkedIn, work on your CV, put in those applications for you, and get you the interviews. Okay. The reason why I said at the beginning, I said I was very excited for NA, and I'll tell you the reason why. So when we started Talent Loop last year, we had a break in December. Okay, we had a break because at that time a lot of organizations were not really hiring. Okay, so the responses were slow, and we took a break in December. She really wanted to get a job in December, so she reached out to me. She sent an email and said, the moment you open up Talent Loop again by January, please let me know. And she was the first person to register in January. The moment we announced that Talent Loop was taking applications, taking in candidates, NA applied. She joined Talent Loop, and in April, she's landed a job. Okay. So for so many people, like I said earlier, it's always how do I go about putting in 10 to 15 applications per day? I've been there before, and I know how, difficult and how stressful it can be. And that's why we exist. We take that stress, we take the difficulty away from you, and we guarantee you those interviews. And the best part, we get to prepare you for the interviews as well. Okay, I don't know if that helps to answer your question,
yeah.
Rebecca.
So sorry if I get you right. Are you saying like NF for instance? Because I'm also following now. You said most of our posts. So you help with like and making sure someone's LinkedIn is engaged, like you know, with the post and all of that. Is that what you're saying?
You make the post yourself. We don't make the post for you, but we advise you on what to post. For
Okay.
example, you are learning something. You learned something today. You learned something yesterday. You've learned so many things. If you want to build a machine learning model, you start from a particular, what libraries do you intend to use? What's the problem you're trying to solve? Why are you building this machine learning model? So it's you simply taking what you've done before and couching it into a post. Okay, people would read the posts, they'll find it interesting. Some would engage, some would leave you comments, and so on and so forth. All right. So it's simply you putting yourself out there in public. So if you follow any of these content creators on social media, like Wasabi, you follow Tunde Ednuts, you're just simply doing what they do, but this time around in a professional setting. All right. So, and that's what Ene has done perfectly well, and part of the reasons why she's gotten a job today.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Rebecca. Donatus is asking, is it possible to upgrade premium to comprehensive? Absolutely. It's possible for you to do that. The difference is just $100. Okay. The comprehensive is $250. The premium is 150. So you want to upgrade, you just pay the difference of $100 and then we upgrade you to comprehensive. So the moment you register, the first thing you get is a link on Calendly for you to book an onboarding session. Once you've booked the onboarding session, during that session for 15 minutes where we get to sit one-on-one, discuss, ask you questions. Do you have some preference? Do you have some things you're considering? Then we send you the form for you to fill all your details. After you fill the form and you've submitted, we assign a date that would start your process and assign somebody to you who would communicate with you and put in applications. And that's the person you reach out to. You have any questions or anything you want to ask. Or after this session, if you have any questions, maybe perhaps we have not addressed, excuse me, in today's session, all you have to do is you can send an email to talentloop@amdari.io or my colleague MM at 0787 871 1494, and somebody will respond to the questions that you have. All right. Let me see. I think just before I come to you, Wesley, there's a question from Nana. For me, I joined Analytics as a data analyst in December. I'm in the UK working as a carer and I need a job as a data analyst, which I'm willing to switch. If it's not possible, I do not mind moving to where I can get a job and settle, because you are not the only one saying it's difficult to get a visa sponsorship job. Yeah, visa sponsorship is not, I won't say now, there are different ways. It's not difficult to get, but you're already on visa, you're already on a sponsor job, trying to move from your current sponsorship. So you're on the health and care visa, and you're trying to get a job as a data analyst that comes with sponsorship. The reason why it gets a bit tricky is this: you have sponsorship. Maybe I'm on track. Sorry. Can you mute Oluseyi? So you're on track for you to, complete your 5 years on your visa, get your ILR, and then of course you want to apply for citizenship. So many companies would not just hire you and give you sponsorship immediately. Most of them would want to put you on, probation, 3 months probationary period. And the moment you're on probation, you're out of sponsorship at that point. All right. And that's where it gets a bit tricky. All right. But in terms of getting the visa sponsored jobs itself, is not in itself too difficult. It's limiting. And this comes to the question I said I was going to answer when you asked that question initially. Now, you don't only apply to visa sponsorship roles. Okay. So yes, you look for the job, you see that it comes with certificates of sponsorship, and those are the only type of jobs you apply to. No. If you do this, you would not get that visa sponsorship. There are different strategies, and one other strategy is a strategy we call stoop to conquer. The stoop to conquer strategy is me applying to a company that I know have the license to sponsor. All right. The job they have put out there did not indicate that it comes with sponsorship, but I've researched into the company. I know they have the license to sponsor, number one. Number two, I know the number of visa sponsored roles, the number of COSs they issued in the previous year. That's on the other hand. Finally, I meet the threshold for all the requirements needed to get sponsorship. So I want to apply to any company that offers sponsorship in the UK, let's say Cognizant, for example, and this job for a data analyst role, Nana wants to get that job, but it does not come with sponsorship, nothing like COS. Even during your interview, they ask you, do you want sponsorship? You say, no, I don't want sponsorship. Because usually it's a way to, bounce you off the hiring pool. When you say, oh, I need sponsorship to get that job, they bounce you off. All right. So one of the things you want to do is get into the company, get that job. Once you get the job, you give them 120% as a professional. They say do A, B, C. You do A, B, C, D, E, F. You do more than you're required to. You go above and beyond. You do that for the next 6 to 8 months, and then you make a request for sponsorship. We've had so many people do this, and that's the strategy we call stoop to conquer. Okay, so you stoop. I don't need this. I don't need sponsorship. You don't mention it during the interview. You get into the company, you give them your all, you give them the best, and eventually you are able to request for sponsorship, and they would give it to you as long as you meet the salary threshold. That particular job title, the job role, is eligible for the skilled worker visa. You'll get it. All right. Um, so that's the challenge. So you want to, and this is where during your interview for you, Nana, your specific situation, if you're already on a care visa, you want to be upfront to them and let them know that I want to get this job and I need my sponsorship from day one. Okay, because you cannot forfeit all the time you've spent on the care visa and go into another company where you do another 3 months on probation or 6 months before you eventually request for sponsorship. We've had somebody we worked with like that. She got her COS last month in March. That was the strategy she used. She had to be upfront to tell them, I'm a carer, I'm on the care visa, I can't be out of status because I'm counting my 5 years to ILR. So I need to be on sponsorship immediately. All right. Eventually she was given the COS, she applied, and then she got the sponsorship. So even though you're on the care visa and you change to a new company, your time on the previous visa continues counting. Okay, it continues. If you've done 3 years, you just keep on counting from 3 years upwards to 5 years. Okay, so those are some of the strategies you want to deploy. All right, you're upfront to them, you let them know what you want, and based on that, they either say a yes or a no. So that's where it is tricky. Most of them would say no, we can't give you from day one, but you'd find a company that would say yes. Okay, let's go to Wesley. Wesley, please go ahead.
Yeah, so can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Shoot.
Yeah, so okay. I'm a new cohort. I haven't signed up yet for Talent Loop at all. But
Okay.
I'm just wanting to know, do you guys help with CV optimization for a project management and cybersecurity roles in the UK?
Absolutely.
So what do you recommend? Do you recommend us signing up for Talent Analytics first and then doing the Talent Loop afterwards?
So you said you need just the CV and the LinkedIn, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is all you need. The basic package. That's all.
But I mean, could you apply for the jobs as well for me as well if I do the premium package?
So absolutely. But the question I would like to ask Wesley is,
Yeah.
do you have the skills and competence in the jobs you want us to apply for you?
In terms of the cybersecurity, no, but the project management, yes.
Yeah, so if you have competence in project management, you want us to apply to jobs, that's not a problem. You want to
Mhm.
go for the premium package.
Yeah.
Okay. So the premium package comes with the CV, the LinkedIn optimization and the job application as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what you want to do.
I mean, does that come up with the job the assistance with the job applications and interviews?
So if you want us to prepare you for interviews,
Yeah, I
that's
want
where
that.
you have the comprehensive.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Okay.
comprehensive comes with the interviews. We prepare you for interviews after getting you those interviews. So if you go for premium, we get you
Mhm.
the interviews and you have
Yeah,
to go attend the interviews yourself,
of
figure
course.
it out, prepare yourself. But for the comprehensive, we
Mhm.
do everything. So we do
Okay.
your CV, optimize your LinkedIn, apply to the jobs, get you a minimum of 3 interviews, and prepare you for those interviews as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Joseph.
you're welcome. Okay. Let me see if I have any more questions. I'm not sure we have questions. We've taken about an hour, 15 minutes or thereabouts. So again, we have just 20 slots available for the May cohort. So if this is something you want to do, you want to jump in as fast as you can so that you don't miss out on the discounts by next month, the month after, just like we have somebody like Ene Temidayo and all the other amazing people. We hope your own picture would also be there and would use this as a form of motivation to other people who are looking to land jobs. All right. Applying to job is a job in itself. You have to be dedicated, take out time every single day to put out applications on job boards that would give you the type of results that you need to get. So we're going to call it a day at this point. I'll share my slides with you and ensure that for those of you we'll be working with in May, you get started, you lock in the discounts, you lock in your registration this month before the discounts are gone. All right. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope you got value for your time. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you in another session like this some other time. Cheers, everyone, and have an amazing week ahead of you.